Welcome to Can Angels Fly. I'm Nancy. How are you today? Oh, okay. I thank you for sharing. Anyway, talking shit, talking shit. And that's what this video is about. Talking shit. Are we who, me and other people like myself that deal in terror and with astrology and with conspiracies, merely just talking shit, wasting words, time, and energy. I can't speak for nobody else, but I can speak for myself. And I ain't just talking shit. What is this video really about? Well, it's about answering the question of, is it possible to come back from this hellish state that we are experiencing in this world and began to bring heaven back to this physical realm? Because when you look at the whole story, see here on my channel, Can Angels Fly Terror, we look at all the little bits and pieces of the puzzle that go to the whole story. Now, we still got quite a bit of stuff to cover on this channel, but in my private life, I've been looking at the whole story, well, as much as I can see, and looking at that whole story relative to if we can bring heaven back here on earth, or are we too deep? Are we so deep in our shit that we can't pull ourselves out of it, out of this hellish state? So in this video, I just kind of want to offer a blueprint of hope. A blueprint of hope. I believe that we can pull ourselves out of this hellish state. I do not believe that it will be a quick process. I do believe if we began to pull ourselves out of this descension into hell, it would be beneficial to future generations. And of course, we will find relief in the course of our life. The process of recovery that I am seeing is pretty complicated, but I believe that it's attainable. The first thing is, though, is the process of enlightenment. We all see this world, our lives, this life from so many different perspectives. There's so many different variables, such as race, geographical locations, personal values and morals and beliefs and upbringings and religion and educational influence, political influence. It's a lot. It's a lot. And all of those dividers, that's what they seem to be, dividers. Because if we could today strip all of those dividers away, we'll be left here standing naked. All of us. It wouldn't matter what complexion you are, what nationality, culture, educational level. Strip all that away. One way or another, we're going to see it. Whether we'll see the onset of it in our lifetime, but our future generations will definitely experience what we collectively decide to do. That is to say, to bring heaven or hell upon this earth. So, if all was stripped away from us, we would just be standing here, butt naked. Wouldn't matter you was fat, thin, black, white, yellow, wouldn't matter. Butt naked. So what I'm seeing is, hey, we have the choice to decide. Either we get butt naked on our own and look at life for what it is, or we allow ourselves to keep descending down into the pits of hell and still find ourselves butt naked in a bad place. But we'll see. We'll see what this is really all about. Now, for this video, I'm really talking about the pathway to recovery, bringing heaven back to this earth, and a sense of relief and peace. We got to get butt naked first. As I mentioned, the first stage of getting the butt naked is kind of relinquishing the different dividers: religion, race, nationality, level of education, political, all those rules, regulations, divisions, land division, just all of that. And that's what's so difficult. How can we? How can we? Everybody that's watching this video probably think I'm a black woman. Everybody that's watching this video probably think I'm fat. I don't know what else you might think, but you have these preconceived notions about who I am, or what I am, or what I stand for, or what I should stand for, what I'm worthy of, what I'm not worthy of. And most of it, truthfully, is probably a lie or irrelevant to us being restored. It's the division or the opinion of another about me. For example, I'm using myself as an example because this is my channel. Please tell me, if a person had just say a negative opinion of me or viewpoint of me just from engaging me here on YouTube, what will that bring? Is in a way it could bring heaven on earth, but if a person has a negative perspective of me, then that can only bring hate, and it would all be bought on by what you see, maybe what I say. I'm not making this make sense. Been a difficult day. I didn't mean to make videos. I just start making so many of them. Blah 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 blah. Been getting a whole lot of information, so just pushing it out. My whole point of rambling is to say all of these dividers, all of these things that make us different, demand that we be different, are things that keep us bickering. It leads us not to be able to work together. It's like language differences, those barriers that exist just due to language itself. At least that one is a more rational barrier or boundary for people to have to get over. But then we have interpreters that bridge that gap together. So why did I say that? Because that shows if there is a will, there is a way. So anyway, what was I saying? In order for us to recover, to bring heaven back here on earth, it is possible. Will it happen in the course of our lifetime? I doubt it. But we can feel relief from the onset of the process and hand down that gift of heaven to future generations. Another thing that we're confronted with, one of the bigger issues we're confronted with, even bigger than any worldly or physical interjections or influences upon us deciding to move to recovery, is that of human nature. And this is why it's this moment of enlightenment, this age of Aquarius, the onset of it, is so important because we have to come to understand human nature. Only certain people in this realm study human nature. You got to pay a university major money to study the art of human nature. Human nature is so powerful. One of the aspects of human nature I like to point out for this video is a person's ego. You know, your ego. And how that can be, that is, the ego itself is a very powerful human influence that dictates how a person does what they do, or will do what they will do. Also, a part of human nature is desire. That's another powerful influence. You have to know what you're playing with in this realm. So that is why the age of Aquarius is so critical. It is about gaining enlightenment. Enlightenment about what? Yourself, first of all. Then the rest of the people in humanity and how this world works. Age of Aquarius. These are things that we don't look at. As I mentioned, when it comes to human nature and human psychology, you got to pay big bucks to universities and colleges and things like that in order to concentrate on that art. As it stands true with any other discipline, chemistry, mathematics, music, we don't master those different arts. Those are just examples, unless we go on to higher education. Some do, some don't. But even for those that do, you pay big money. That wasn't the way it was meant to be. So again, Age of Aquarius is about this realization, coming to understand the truths that have been hidden, shrouded, or sold to humanity. Can we recover from descending down into hell and bring back a heavenly state upon this earth? Yes, we can. As I mentioned, I'm going to offer a blueprint to how this will take place. We will not feel, in this generation, in this lifetime, we won't feel the full effects of performing these works. We will get relief. But we will hand the gift of heaven to the future generations if we decide to go this way. I was looking at the, I don't know what you call it, map, layout of garbage removal in my city. And that made me start thinking about back in the day. Back in the day, there were block clubs. We still have a few across the country. They mostly exist in more suburban communities now. But that block club is an excellent means to begin to orchestrate a comeback. Another thing that we have to deal with is structure, hierarchy, order. Because in any one of those districts, block club districts, you know, the garbage disposal sector, that group of people within a community, there still has to be a hierarchy, a chain of command. Everybody within a given sector. Let me say that again. There are going to be various sectors. We're going to just talk about one sector, but the truth stands true for all sectors. Our sample sector, there must be a hierarchy. There has to be structure. In a sector, there have to be people that have awareness in the concept, in the context of skills relative to sustaining and maintaining the life, your life, their life, the people in that sector's life. There are, we'll say, because I don't have better words, the tribal chief or the sector's chief. This is a person that would have to be respected. And I stop there to go back and talk about human nature relative to the individual ego. Can we learn to control our egos and to be respectful of our authority figures? We've proven that we can, because we follow this global governmental structure. We can. But now it's time for us to save our behinds as well as the future generations. Now we have to reconstruct the whole world. But we can't do it as a whole. We have to know why we are doing what we're doing. We have to understand what we're up to. We have to divide into small sections, all of one mind. One mind. That's what I say. All those dividers have to be stripped away. They have to be stripped away. I understand this blueprint that I'm talking about is strenuous. And I bring up once again, Saturn and Capricorn. Strenuous. The head banger. Saturn is your daddy. Either you're going to do it or you just get penalized. However, the rewards that you get will be equivalent to the work that you put in. So these small sectors with a hierarchy, with a tribal chief, because I don't have a better word or title, you have to kind of, you got to bow down to them. But that leader is in place because they are a regulator. Not that they are truly taking control of your life. But they are the ones, that chief in each sector is the chief that keeps everything within that sector regulated. He breaks the ties, etc., etc. All sectors are moving for one purpose, and that's to reconstruct our social structure in a way that can restore heaven upon this earth. Either we put this together, this reconstruction, this recovery process together, starting now. Because remember, Pluto was also in Capricorn. Talking about, well, you're going to transform one way or another. Either you're going to do it the hard way and you're going to put the work in and make it happen the way you like, or Pandora's box is open. Circumstances and situations will lead you to transform one way or another. It's completely up to you. So, back to these little individualized sectors. We have the tribal chief, because I don't have a better word, and all of his council. And with one main goal, from the tribal chief to every, civilian or person within that particular sector. One purpose: to reconstruct our world construct in a way that humanity can recover from descending down to hell. Again, I spoke in another video about, I call it the Yuma Puss, and it was talking about the departmental structure in this world, and how we are being the avatar for that, that colossal spiritual entity. We run it. We make it happen. We type the letters. We push the buttons. That system will do as we command. But first, everybody has to know that. Everybody has to be on one accord. So, understand the teaching in order to gain understanding about that process and that entity, has to be taught overall in all sectors, including that one we're using as an example, so that a person, an individual, will know what they're contributing and the effects of what they choose to contribute. This is an extreme process. So what else have I been seeing? Is that the inhabitants of any given small sector, all working together for one cause, one purpose, the restoration of heaven upon earth, a sense of ease, easing up, relief from the insanity that's happening in this world, suggests that we will have a global collapse. If this structure, the majority of this world, is not under a developed substructure, what I'm talking about, then it will be chaos. Another step or leveling down into the descension of hell. But if this structure that I speak of is put in place, which it really is, those with the financial means have begun the process. But it's basic, everyday layman and laywomen that do not have the financial resources to invest in such a reorganization, structure, that are just left to the effects of our descension into hell, that will begin to move quite rapidly. I'll say that. So let me go back to the structure. This new structure that must take place. How can we do it when we don't have the resources? Again, those dividers within communities must be removed, whatever they are. I made a video talking about how natural food sources have been poisoned, contaminated, and killed. What can be done now when you don't have the resources readily available to you? This substructure, I'm gonna call it a substructure, must start to be put in place now in order to feel or experience some form of relief at this point in time in the existence of humanity. We need, how can I say it? We need our block clubs back. We need to grow community gardens. And remember, everybody doesn't know how to grow a garden. So those that know how to grow the garden must teach that art and not charge like they do on a university level. You don't charge. You work together. There are others that know how to garden. They got that green thumb, but they don't know how to jar. Those that know how to jar must teach that art. Now, I know all of this sounds primitive, but what I am seeing is that is the answer. Education for you and for the children or the young adults is that of living in the life a natural way. a lot of what we're hearing so many different comeback strategies, survival strategies, that it's not making sense. It almost seems like it's an option. It's not. We are bombarded with media and entertainment and the glamorous life. Live big, go hard or go home, get rich or die trying. Until we don't pay attention to the reality. That's what I try to point out and keep at the front of your mind on my channel. This is not an option. Oh, yes, it is. I forgot you ain't got to do nothing. I'm sorry. You ain't got to do nothing. But understand the course that we are on is descension into hell. Further, additional, deeper. But we do have the option to work hard, very hard, in order to find relief in this world at this time in the history of humanity, and to start on that pathway that will ultimately bring heaven to the future generations. So I know I'm everywhere, but back to this example, small sector community, starting with a block club if necessary. Every block club in place with their hierarchy in place. Those that understand, like I was talking about, human nature, you must teach that. And the people, this is the real problem we're facing. The people collectively are brainwashed one way or another by those dividers, by the beliefs one has obtained in their life through their life experience. Brainwashed. It's a spell. And it's going to be, as I said earlier, very difficult to break those spells. And for anybody watching this, all I can do is really just pass the message to whomever is listening and see this planet. And so it's going to do what it's going to do. That's what I must remember. It's going to do what it's going to do. I got nothing to do with that. Just pass the message. So what am I saying here? I'll try to make it short. I'm going to do another video. But there are different fields of study. And those fields of study are what should be your local education fields to study for you, the youth, and the children. And those that have mastered any given field of study or art should use those powers to sustain your local area. And as you see, you can't do it by yourself. In your community, your black club, there are so many people to feed, to house, to educate, that you need a staff. You may have mastered a field. Then there are those up under you or around you, or those around you that will be put up under you that are intermediate in that field. They will be up under your study. And then you also need a crew to be able to fulfill the demands associated with how many ever people are in your small sector. And they are assistants as well as students. Another thing that we're faced with in this world under our current construct that has carried us for at least 100 years is that we all want to be paid, and we want to be paid big money. Human nature, we want to go turn up. We want to go have fun. And that is where the challenge lies. You have to remember that it was this social, our global structure that have led you or me or anyone else to have to charge such tremendously high prices for anything. All of these things were offered freely by the life, and certain people hoarded them, whatever it may be, and then put them on the market. That is a strategy that we have to reverse. And the reversal of that strategy begins in small sectors simultaneously. That is how the people began to restructure our global. It's interesting. The whole globe has to do with small sectors, what I've been seeing. Was there something else I was supposed to talk about in this video? Wow. And that, this is another thing that I have been dealing with. I really haven't gotten any message about. But it's like, you need housing, especially if you're like in a urban area. Nobody really owns their home. You don't own your land, not here in the United States. You don't even own your land to build a shack on. So, you know, we're caught between this catch-22. There is this divider that's going to happen. It's like really going to break society. That's what I say. We have to be ready. We have to be ready. Because when that pivotal moment happens, when that break happens, you know, hey, you might be paying a mortgage on the home, but you ain't finished paying it. You may own the house, but you don't own the land. Either way, our current governmental structure still owns the shelter. That's where migration seems like it's coming back in again. I haven't gotten anything about that, but I understand that we got to have shelter. I do understand that. And so the only thing I got relative to that is that everybody, not everybody, but many people have mastered certain trades like masonry, woodworking, whatever the case may be, building of homes. We did the work. And that's what I'm trying to say. The time has come, not coming, come, that it's time for us to do the work for the people. And it has to be focused in local communities, starting with block clubs across this whole globe. Now, if you pay attention to how I speak, you'll notice that I said, it's going to do what it's going to do. I ain't got nothing to do with that. There's certain aspects of this ascension process that has nothing to do with you. It ain't your business to make it happen. It's certain moves that you, me, every individual have to make. But the rest is carried on by divine energy. I'm going to have to do a video talking about the God of this world versus the God we think we are praying to. That divine energy is what carries everything else through. Those things that we can't make sense of. That thing like the housing, I can't make sense of. Or how the world overall got to do the same thing simultaneously. I can't make it make sense. But that ain't none of my business. I was just sharing the blueprint that I have seen. Do I have it clear? Nope. But it is coming. And am I making it happen in my own world? Trying, but nope. No such luck. Only thing I do is put it out there, drop the seed. Fine. Gonna do what it do. If I remember that I might have forgot anything, then I'll make another part to this video. But just to put that on your mind, maybe you'll receive a message that begins to fill in those gaps that I can't see, that I don't know. Maybe that message ain't for me, but it's for you. Because guess what? You are a preacher too. Thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly. Until next time. Bye.